Hello, Libra. Welcome to your Aries New Moon reading. This is Into the Infinite. I'm Charlie, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So, this is your Aries New Moon reading. I was kind of going within, and the call to adventure came up as this sort of prominent theme. And yeah, that's how we're the overarching look at this particular spread. So, I'm going to dive right in. I invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space. And I ask that it is a safe space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. Okay, Libra. So I'm going to lay this out here with the Light Seers Tarot, and then I'm going to clarify with the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot. So, Spirit, can you please help to lay out these energies here for the Aries New Moon on April 1st for Libra? Whoa. Thank you so much. The Fool. I mean, that's like the ultimate new beginning card. Five of Swords. This also came up for Virgo. That same position. It could be that you have Virgo placements in your chart, or you're dealing with the Virgo. Queen of Swords. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting that this, so we have the Fool. We also have the Five of Swords. And the Queen of Swords. So I'm getting that there's this kind of progression through here. Now, I feel like this is also kind of channeling your energy. I'm not going to lie. That's a bit of you. There's something that you're wiser about now. You're wise to the ways of the world. I almost get like this sort of maturity and maturing that you've had to do through just like the way I think about it is like, if you put shoes in a dryer and you don't put them like in a 222 just came up on the time. If you put shoes in the dryer, they'll leave like dents. Some of them, like depending on the barrel and all of that, it's sort of like you're feeling dented. Like it's nothing that is unfixable or unfigureoutable, to quote Marie Forleo. But I think that this is kind of this Five of Swords energy is you being like, damn it. Oh. And I think that this is kind of you in a bit of a manifesting after learning some lessons place. So that could be that this is the energy that you're leaning into through this Aries New Moon. Spirit, can you please clarify these messages for my wonderful Libras? Thank you so much. What was it that you've matured through? And that, like, can you enlighten me into give me some insight into this energy, Spirit? Yeah. A lot of stuck energy. Lots of stuck energy. Thank you so much, Spirit. Let go and let flow just popped into mind. And yeah. Oh, that was the other way. Okay. There's a way that you used to it's almost like I'm getting, okay, there's so many messages. Spirit, can you please ground that energy? I'm getting a sense of confusion and maybe overwhelm for you, Libra. Like there's a lot that you're working on and you're balancing it, but I feel like there's this precarity to it. Or there has been. Maybe you're grounding your energy, or the energy is becoming more grounded. Yeah, definitely. Queen of Pentacles. There's some grounding that's taking place here. And I think that could be like you're realizing what was. Yeah, Queen of Swords again. You're realizing that the way that you were kind of charging forward on different projects or in relationship related to problems and things like that. This is just, I'm seeing that the abundance of minor arcana here so far is telling me that this is like everyday stuff, right? And the Fool energy is amazing. It's a major arcana card. It's an air card. It's also Uranian energy, and that's 11th house energy. I'm seeing that this sort of maturing that you've been going through is really a mental maturity as opposed to an emotional maturity. I think that I'm getting the sense that the emotional maturity was already there and that it just needed to be informed by thought processes that supported the heart, that your heart opening and healing. Yeah. This is definitely like a sense of, yeah, maturity that you're undertaking. And I'm going to put these down. The reason why is I feel like it's leaving you a little bit more, this is the open heart piece, right? You're able to recognize, you're able to, recognize, not just what you want, but what wants you back. And I think that, that's a message for somebody. That's, you're able to recognize what you want and what wants you back. Maybe you were spinning your wheels before. And even if we're in committed relationships and long-term relationships, we can feel like we're spinning our wheels if we're putting too much time and effort, Eight of Pentacles, into things that are, helpful and good, but they can be ungrounded and really fast moving, right? So it's hard for us to kind of get our footing. And I think that once you get this grounding, it's like, grounded energy, completely clear and aware. And then you're like, oh shit, like this reflection piece was like, oh, well, that's a bummer. But I think that as you move forward and through this, I think part of the maturity that you had to learn, like this spiritual maturity I'm hearing too, you had to learn that there are certain choices that you're going to have to make. And, some of them do lead to Five of Swords, but then others they lead to things like this, right? Like they lead to that sense of, stability and new contracts and feeling integrated and connected. This is Libra and this is Venus, right? So this is Taurian energy. So towards the end of April and the 19th, you could find that there's some, there's a way that there's a way that you're kind of integrating comfort and discomfort in a way that balances forward movement. That because I'm seeing this here, and I feel like I don't think it's so much a leaving behind of people as much as it is a leaving behind of what you're realizing doesn't matter anymore. What doesn't matter anymore. Sometimes we go, and the reason why I'm saying that, this is like the Five of Swords is the win at all cost card. So when you're in a relationship and you feel like you have to have the last word, if you feel like you need to have the say over certain things, like the way I tend to approach relationships is whoever something is most important to has more of a say. And then when you reach an impasse with that, you have a way of working through it so that there's some kind of compromise and negotiation. Now, there's definitely some things that you cannot compromise about, and that's okay. That should be the case because there are certain things that are just more important to us than others. But what I'm seeing here is that you're understanding that this sort of way of dealing with and approaching inner conflict wasn't really helping you. It's not just that it wasn't helping you. I think that it was really keeping you imbalanced and unable to articulate what actually mattered to you. So this kind of maturing that you're going through is one that is absolutely bringing in the things that you wanted. And I think that when you get past this idea that you have to win, like and this is very Aries New Moon. This is very Aries, right? Competition, that feeling. This is the shadow side of Aries, where you feel like you have to not just win at all costs, but like win and everyone, the empath part, right? This is like if you were to throw in the Aries shadow with like empath stuff, it would be like you want to win at all costs, but you want everyone to like you in the process and you don't want anyone to feel bad, but that's not what that pattern does. That's not what that pattern is capable of offering others, right? It is a very unstable energy and an energy of my way or the highway, right? My way or the highway. Spirit, can you please clarify this just a little bit more here for my Librans, for this Aries New Moon energy and their call to adventure? I almost feel like this is like rocket fuel for you. Like I'm just getting that this is like rocket fuel. This whole, this kind of maturing process is like rocket fuel. I haven't seen, yeah, and I think that it's also helping you to understand, like it fuels other things as well. Right? It fuels other things for you. Yeah. And I think that it's giving you a bit of freedom, and this like liberation from this for me is liberation from this for me resonates for you as, yeah, it's confidence. This to me is like understanding. This is Five of Swords again. So this is like, when this happens, I feel like Spirit's like, I said what I said. But I think that this is really you understanding what requires your winning energy, and what requires that, what actually needs that energy, because you're channeling that kind of fire into something far more constructive in terms of your relationships, like emotional fulfillment in them. And it also, it leads to a greater sense of confidence, right? It's hard to feel confident in relationships if we're in constant conflict, because there's always something wrong. So we're always responding to the what's wrong. And that can really start to chip away at your confidence and self-esteem. So you're kind of left wondering, well, what the hell? Like, why isn't it working? And then you can internalize these things as opposed to saying, no, it's just a habit that I've had, right? This is in the absence of inward facing work and shadow work. And that could be what this is a call to do more of, right? But this is, to me, this kind of coming out on the end here, it tells me that you're learning cause and effect, right? The wheel is not here, but to me, the wheel is the Six of Swords and the Nine of Cups. So wish fulfillment and moving on, right? So the Nine of Cups is here, and the Six of Swords is not, but we do have the Eight of Cups, which to me is a moving on card a little bit as well. It's like spiritual path as well. Yeah, it's kind of like a leaving behind energy. And I think that you're understanding, when you take this approach, the new thing here. So the energy of the new moon, we're talking about new beginnings and moving forward, and like all of that juicy building process, right? This could also be just believing new things about the world and introducing new thought patterns and processes for dealing with emotions into your world. And I think that this is, for you, my wonderful Librans, a way that you may be called to think about, even with yourself, right? The way that can tie up your thought patterns, because if you're winning at all costs, you can't really think about joy or anything else. Like, I'm competitive, but there's also this shadow side to it, right? There's a shadow side where you can compete and compete and compete all you want. But then if you're not also cultivating this deep emotional health and well-being within yourself, that competitiveness will make it impossible for you to see other people's humanity. And that gets really scary, because when you don't see other people's humanity, it's sort of where you get a pass on, using things like empathy and compassion. And, it just is... it can create this really big downward spiral. But I think in terms of this new moon energy, that's where the sense of the new is coming from, is these epiphanies and sort of aha moments about the way that you've been approaching conflict and how it's really hurt you in the past, where, and not hurt you in the past, like just a broad statement. I think you just realized that it wasn't working. Like, it wasn't working. It was leaving you feeling kind of stuck in midair, right? Like, and there's not much forward movement. But again, this sort of, it liberates you to happiness, right? Four of Wands. It liberates you and opens you up to your intuition. Venus. So love, passion, and passion because the Wands energy sort of bookending Venus here. And then also the Queen of Wands here as well. But I think that this is a real, it's almost like a growing up, and we think like even people who are in their like 70s, 80s, I talked to my granny, and she's 85 this year, I believe. And she says to me all the time, there's things that I learn still. She said, there's still things that I'm learning. And it blows my mind how much at 85, like we talked about that before, but just, how much she can still learn and how much she still doesn't know. And one thing that she talked about before was that she understands what she really needs to respond to now. And that's like 85 years of wisdom, right? But it's this, I think that you're understanding what requires your response and what doesn't. 444 as in the 1444 was on the time. So I'm going to give you now just a Hero's Journey Dream Oracle card pull. to cap off this reading for you, my wonderful Librans, as we move through the zodiac and into and through this new moon energy. That was pretty quick and efficient. Divine drunkenness and afterglow. Land gracefully. Divine drunkenness. Surrender to your spiritual reverie. Maturing. I think that this is emotional, spiritual, and it's emotional and spiritual growth. And I think that it's just surrendering to that journey, right? When I think of this Eight of Cups, they're not spilled. And I almost wonder if this is sort of the divine drunkenness, right? Like that journey, the spiritual path, and really surrendering to it and the wisdom in it, even if it is uncomfortable when we have to look at our own patterns and habits and say, oh, I kind of messed that up, or oh, I dropped the ball with that, right? There's so much compassion that we can have for ourselves in that. But again, it's what it makes accessible to us and how we are accessible to other people. So also afterglow, land gracefully. This represents perhaps angels that have been watching over you, guardian angels that you've had that you don't realize. You may become aware of them with this High Priestess card here. You may be aware of them already and working with them actively. Same thing with Judgment. It's got this major sort of divine intervention vibe. So so this is a great new beginning. Come on, this is awesome. Libra, this is great. Don't be hard on yourself, though. Don't beat yourself up, because this is kind of like the Five of Swords in reverse, is like beating yourself up or being too hard on yourself. And feeling like you have to be perfect. So that's not what this is at all either. So, lean into the spiritual path and all of the things that it's teaching you. And I feel like this is really you landing gracefully. Queen of Swords. Landing gracefully. So let what you thought would take the wind out of your sails be the thing that gives you wings, my friends. So on that note, this is your reading, Libra, for the Aries New Moon. If you like this reading and it resonates, do like this video and subscribe. It helps me to grow the channel and continue to do videos like this, which is what I happen to enjoy, even though I was a little bit terrified to do it at first. Let that be a lesson to you. There are other ways that you can connect with me throughout the week in terms of daily readings and monthlies and other readings along the way as well. So I hope you have a wonderful new moon. Thank you so much for tuning in, Libra. Take care. Bye.